Returning now to federal politics and the issue of asylum seekers, about 14,000 refugees live in Indonesia. Most have formal refugee status but have waited years for resettlement in a third country. And they've told our Southeast Asia correspondent Anne Barker they aren't keen to risk what they already have. Anne now joins us from West Java. And Anne, you've had a chance to get out and about and speak to these refugees. What are they telling you?
Yeah, we're here at Puncak, which is about 2 hours south of Jakarta, and about 2,500 refugees live here, about most of those from Afghanistan, Pakistan, that part of the world. Now, they say they have no knowledge of any change of law in Australia. It takes some time for that news to filter through, but they certainly also don't know that there's any plan to reopen the Christmas Island detention centre. When I said that that was on the cards, they said they have no plans to try and risk their lives again by going by boat to Australia. Many of them have had that opportunity in the past and failed to do it. They say it is too dangerous. A lot of families live here with children who are school age or younger, and they feel settled and happy here. They're not about to risk their lives. Also, single men who have often made up the biggest group on those boats in the past also recognise the dangers. A lot of these people also have no money. They don't have the money that they once had when they first came here. They've been here for several years, and so there's no money. And Khalil Pais, one refugee we spoke to, said that people smugglers too are not even active at the moment in Indonesia.
Here, no, I haven't heard anything like from people smuggler, because their boat is not moving and everybody is just busy with their own lives. So if there are people smugglers as well, they are like low profile at the moment.
So, Anne, you mentioned there many of those who, 2,500 refugees who are living just south of Jakarta, where you said many don't have the money. They didn't arrive with the money, or it's been spent, but they also don't have the right to work, to gain money, or to study in Indonesia either.
That's right. Thousands of refugees in this country have no financial support at all. Some of them do have either an allowance from the International Organisation for Migration. Many of them are in detention centres. But many of the ones that we've met here are choosing to live in the community freely. They rely on money from back home or relatives who have made it to places like Australia who will send money on a regular basis. They live very simple, poor lives, but they are safe. They're very settled, and we went into the homes of many of those people today and saw how they live. They are adamant that they are not prepared to risk those lives. They feel that because they're already refugees, it's a matter of waiting till the United Nations resettles them in a third country rather than try their luck taking a boat to Australia.
And you mentioned that many of these refugees are unaware of the border rule changes here in Australia. But would it be safe to assume, or at least ask the question, whether or not those higher up in the chains, the ones who are running the people smuggling rackets, would very keenly be watching this, as the coalition is suggesting?
I'm sure that once the news filters through, that could well be the case. I mean, there's both a supply and demand here. When you've got the people smugglers aware that there might be a loophole that allows boats to go back to Australia and for people to be in detention in Australia on the mainland, sure, they will start looking for opportunities to sell those voyages to people who are already here, and that in turn might then filter through to people who are refugees here, not just to Puncak but right through the country. So it's feasible that of those 14,000 refugees in Indonesia, it's possible there will be some people who do make that decision. But certainly everybody we've spoken to here suggests it's not on their radar, they're not aware of any changes, and they don't feel ready to risk their lives.
Anne Barker reporting from Puncak in Indonesia. Many thanks for your time.